What stage did you move to the back line, the half-back flank and even full-back? Was that in Bones' time or was it...
No, it was in Tony's time.
Tony's time.
Yeah, so I played about 50 games at full-back, I guess.
Yeah. How did you find that move from the wing, the team of the century wingman in the AFL to a backman?
Well, it was very worrying, let me tell you. Very worrying. I spent the worst time of my football life, Friday nights trying to get to sleep, thinking about playing on full forwards, and knowing full well that your performance and consequently that of your direct opponent could have an influence on the game to the point where it determined whether you won and lost.
Yeah.
Now, that's pressure. That's real pressure.
No.
And so that was a lesson for me, even though I'd played 250 games of league footy and played in finals and would be considered, I suppose, by any measure experienced, but it gave me an insight into what real pressure was and also taught me how to cope with it better than what I'd been able to do before.
Yeah.
And also, playing at full back, it gave me an insight into how the game was unfolding because I found playing further up the ground, and I don't know whether you found this, but playing further up the ground, or at the end of the ground rather, with the ball coming towards you or going away from you in virtually a straight line or, a pattern that you could understand and relate to.
You replaced TJ as coach for 1982. How hard was it coaching guys that you just finished playing with, and how much different was it to being a player?
That's another good question, Richo. It was very hard in some respects because my relationship straight away changed from being one of the boys to obviously in a position of authority. But also I knew the players very well, maybe too well in retrospect, because I think it probably gave me some preconceived ideas that probably as a coach might have been a disadvantage. Don't know, hard to say, but I know those are the two things that changed, and of course I had to learn on the job what it was like to be a coach and what I needed to do to become a reasonable coach. So it was a difficult gig, to be honest with you.
Well, you did a pretty good job in your first year, Bourke. You made the grand final, hot favourites going into that game. I remember it well. I'm still shattered about it.
Yes.
But Carlton ended up beating us. What happened?
I've never watched the replay.
Right.
Don't ever intend to. But Carlton took it away from us in the third quarter. We went into half-time, 16 points up. Disco missed the goal just before half-time, which would have, if he had kicked it, would have been 22 points up or 21 points up. Then they came out in the third quarter and really took it away from us, and we couldn't quite get back into it after that. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Yeah. It was one of the tough things you had that year is you had two really good full forwards in Roach and obviously BT, Brian Taylor. BT didn't play in the grand final, but how hard was that to juggle, two guys that probably in any other team would have been the number one full forward?
I thought it was quite easy in some respects because Roachy had this magnificent athleticism that gave him and us a chance to use him elsewhere.
Yeah.
And Brian Taylor had an exceptional year that year and really burst onto the scene as an established player for the first time. And so I saw as an issue of using our resources that we had at our disposal as best we could.
Yeah.
Not so much whether it was Roach or Taylor for the full forward spot, and the other bloke missed out completely. So that's what I saw at the time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
After that grand final that year, a lot of players left the club. We had Rains left, Cloak left, Brian Wood went to Essendon. How much did that hurt the club in the long run?
I think it had a significant impact, no doubt. I mean, Rainsy won 3 best and fairest and was a champion. Cloak left, and that left quite a hole at the forward line. I think that So you can't lose good players like that and not have some impact. But in other respects too, the wheels fell off a little bit, and basically we just I think we lost the first 4 or 5 games, and whilst we did have some good wins, we just couldn't get back into the race again, and so the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, you finished 10th that year in '83, and obviously they replaced you as coach. Did you, at the time, pretty keen to keep going on, or what were your feelings?
Look, I would have been, if I had been asked to coach, I would have kept going. In retrospect, I think the club did me a favour.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know whether I was really good enough as a coach anyway to succeed to the point where I was going to be able to make a career of it. But not many people get the opportunity to coach the club they want to coach, so I was very pleased on it to be able to have the opportunity to do it while it lasted. And I think that it worked out for the best in the long run for both the Tigers and myself.
Well, Bourke, you probably then had a break from the club, but you did return as chairman of selectors a number of years later. In fact, when I think I first got here, you were chairman of selectors.
Right, yes.
Did you enjoy that role?
I did.
You'd done everything else at the club.
Oh, well, I don't know about done everything else, but that was an opportunity to make a contribution to my club, I suppose, and it was good to be with a guy like Alan Jeans. That was interesting, and to have someone else perspective and to look and learn and listen to a proven all-time great coach was an interesting experience. And I think I'll be interested to hear your comment on it, but I think the players of that time will never forget, for the most part anyway, the contribution that Alan Jeans actually made, and his ability to communicate, and his humour, and his unique way of speaking and addressing players. And I think that unfortunately couldn't go for more than 1 year, but it was an experience that the club benefited from all round.
Oh, no doubt. I know that Wayne Campbell speaks, highly of his year under Jeansy, and I know he thinks that it helped his career, definitely.
Yes.
I want to just throw a few names at you that you were associated with, and maybe just get 2 or 3 quick words on each of them. A bit of word association. Bartlett.
Brilliant.
Hart.
Gifted. A genius, really.
Billy Barrett.
The best big game player I ever saw.
That's a big rap. Yeah. Dickie Clay.
How would I say? He was silky smooth.
Yeah.
He was a great player.
Big Michael Green.
Greenie was, in a way, too smart to be a league footballer, but he was. I thought he would become an all-time great Richmond player, an out-and-out all-time great, I mean.
Yeah.
And but he had a very healthy life football attitude and balance about him that prevented him probably from doing that.
Yeah. Roger Dean.
Toughest little fella, toughest footballer I ever saw, pound for pound, the toughest.
Yeah. Ian Stewart.
Oh, well, I use the word genius of Royce, but Stewie was also wonderfully skilled, of course, and he's well known for that, but he was a very intelligent player.
Yeah.
Very intelligent.
Now, I've been trying to get this bloke to tell me something about himself for 30 years, but he won't, so I'll ask you. Paul Richardson.
He was an interesting one. I can remember when I first started the Tigers, Len Smith had wanted to make him captain of the seconds. I think that was about 1965. I was around, but I wasn't. I was still playing in the 30, but I was coming down and playing in the seconds occasionally. I think he wanted to make him captain of the seconds because of his handball and his ability to lead. But his form in the practice matches of in the year of that he wanted to make him captain of the seconds was so good that he said, "Oh, he scrapped that. He said, he's too good to be playing the second. He should come in playing the first." And in a way, he helped initiate the Len Smith credo about how to play football in those times, and he was very important from that perspective.
He'll be happy to hear that. The Fleet, Waitman, who was just floating around in here, getting autographs signed.
Yes. Well, I mean, he was a little man playing a big man's game, and from that aspect, he has my undying respect and admiration, really, as a player. But he was very gifted as well. Yeah.
What was he annoying on footy trips though?
He was annoying all the time.
Beautiful. And last one, Disco Roach, my hero as a kid.
Yes. Oh, well, he was just a joy to watch and to be with Michael Roach. He was a footballer in the purest sense, and wonderfully skilled, and he just topped us off beautifully, Roach.
Yeah, Berkey. My brother plays cricket for Burnley. I came to watch him play a few years ago, and he was still playing cricket. You're still playing cricket, and what are you doing today?
Well, unfortunately, my body's packed up on me, so I can't play cricket anymore, which has been really disappointing. So now I'm actually president of our cricket club now, which is, if you can't play, you might as well be around, so someone's got to do that. The other thing is, as far as you were asking about what I'm doing for a job, I work part-time driving a semi-trailer for my son-in-law when he's short of drivers. Yeah, so they're not much. I'm not doing much.
Sensational. Yeah. The team at the moment, just your views on where it's heading and some of the players that you like watching at the club at the moment.
Oh, well, I think we're definitely improved. I don't think there's any doubt about that, even though we haven't notched up enough wins yet to say that we've improved on the wins and losses from last year, but I don't think there's any question we've improved. So that's heartening, and I think that it's obvious that with the arrival of Benny Gale and Damien Hardwick and others, without wanting to sound too focused on individuals, but they've that's been a step in the right direction, I think. And with the players, well, I mean, you love them all, don't you? But I think it'll take 2 or 3 years before you can really assess just whether they're what we need, or whether they're going to go to the next step. And and in a way, God help us if they don't, because we do need them to really emerge. Some of them are more advanced than others, obviously, and they're the ones getting the credits now, which is fair enough. But we just need further development, I think.
Yeah, Berkey, we saw you at the Fighting Tiger Fund night. It was great to see you there. Just a quick view on that and the facilities that ultimately is helping provide for the players.
Well, I think that with the figures and the stats that Brendan Gale actually produced on the night was a compelling argument on why our footy department needed to be able to match the other league clubs' footy department spending. And so, and of course, these wonderful facilities here are partly a product of that. But so I think that it's just in a way it's something to be proud of, to see the black and yellow stripe, or the yellow stripe as you go past on the train, to look out at Punt Road and see those yellow stripes down the building. I think that's good, and I think I've come to appreciate that more and more as you've gone on. So, in a way, it's our identity, isn't it, now?
It is.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Driving down Punt Road, it's great to see the colours there. Now, we started with your dad. We'll finish with your son, David, who obviously played footy at this club as well. Tell us a bit about watching your son play and how you enjoyed that.
Well, it's an interesting one too. You see football differently through watching your son play than what you did when you were playing yourself. And as a parent, I guess it was. I found it very trying, very, very trying, because you knew how much it meant to him. You were worried about him getting hurt, all those things. But in the final analysis, to have your dad and your son play for the same club as you. It doesn't come much better than that, I wouldn't have thought. You know,
I think that's a great way to end, Bourke. Thanks for coming in today. Absolute pleasure. Great of you to give up your time. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's an honour, Richo, especially with you.
Thanks.
Yeah.